Ziglar, your host for Success 2.0. I am so excited you're here. You know, when we do Success 2.0 webcasts, we have people from all over the world. Many times we'll have over 40 countries represented. So I just appreciate you taking your time today to spend an hour with us on how you can really grow your business. And you know what? If you get inspired during this time, I just want to encourage you to take the email that we sent you and forward it to your other business owner friends, because we're doing this same webcast today at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. So everybody that can come, that would be awesome. So here are just a few things of information that you'll need. If you'll look on your page right now, top right-hand corner, you'll see a download button. We have a handout for your use that you can go ahead and download, take notes on, keep track, because we know that the paper remembers so much longer than the mind. Our stressed out world today, we get so many inputs. It's always good to write down your notes. We also, down there, we have a chat room. So if you want to join in on chat and have a conversation with our community of people, of business owners and personal development seekers, people who want to be more and do more and have more, then we encourage you to join chat. And when you join chat, just do this. Keep your comments uplifting and on target. I know that there's a lot of great discussions that go on in the chat room, so you don't want to miss out on that. And finally, at the end, we're going to have a time for Q&A, questions and answers. So you'll see a question box right there at the top right-hand side of your screen. Any question that you have that you want to send in, we're going to spend a few minutes at the end answering as many of these questions as we can, because we know that many times there's just that one thing that, you know, that energy, that spark that goes off in your mind, that one connection point that a question can really be the difference maker in. So we want to answer those questions. So now let's get ready. We're going to be talking about the top 5 business secrets, the top 5 business things that you can do to build your business. And I tell you what, I'm just excited because my good friend and our exclusive business coach for Ziglar, Howard Partridge, is here, and he's going to be sharing these. And I want you to know that he's going to cover in 40 minutes what normally takes him 2 or 3 days to cover. So you're going to be getting the high points, the essential elements of what it takes to take your business to the next level. So Howard, if you would come on up here.
Absolutely, Tom.
Man, this
Thanks
is
for
awesome.
having me.
So,
yeah,
how,
it is.
So how many times a year are we working together now?
Well, just about every week it seems like now. And in fact, I was just sitting here thinking about that. Here I am at Ziglar headquarters, and I'm just totally relaxed because I feel like family here. I really do. I feel like I belong. It's like being at home, and what a great thing that is.
I know, and we've had the blessing to travel together and been around the world together, literally, over to Australia. And we really appreciate each other's companies, but, you know, our families love each other, too.
That's right. That's right.
That's a good thing. So I'm turning it over to you, and I'll be right here.
Excellent.
Thank
you, Tom.
Thanks, Howard.
Yeah, I want to really appreciate Tom. It's true. We've been traveling all over the world, making a difference in the lives of small businesses. And when you change your small business, your life changes. And when your life changes, the things around you and your family changes. And it's just a pleasure and an honor. And to be here at Ziglar, you know, Zig Ziglar, all of you guys out there are Zig Ziglar fans, and the fact is that Zig Ziglar was the most inspiring, most encouraging, motivational teacher of our time, and to be able to teach and be the exclusive small business coach for the Zig Ziglar organization is just an amazing thing. It's such an honor. And this picture that you just saw on the screen there was one of Zig Ziglar's last appearances at one of my events, and Tom came, brought Zig over, and he literally sat there for 2 hours signing books. It was just an amazing thing. But finally, I want to congratulate one more person and recognize one more person, and that is you. I want to congratulate you for taking the time, whether you're watching this live today or viewing it sometime in the future. And the reason I want to congratulate you is because in the last 28 years of being in business, I can tell you that other than the grace of Almighty God and the people that He's put in my life, that doing what you're doing right now, learning and engaging in education, has had the biggest impact on my career. And as Tom said, we're going to cover the top 5 strategies for a phenomenal business. My company is Phenomenal Products, so everything that we do in my life is phenomenal. And of course, when Tom and I started working together, we had a little bit of a branding issue because when you ask me how I'm doing, I say, well, phenomenal, of course. And I started working with the Ziglars. Of course, been building that relationship for about 6 years now, and we've actually been traveling together for over a year now. And when you'd ask Zig how he was doing, he would say, well, better than good for sure. And so the brand that we came up with was, are you ready for this? Better than phenomenal. So throughout the broadcast today, I might ask you how you're doing. And the answer is better than phenomenal. Also, as Tom mentioned earlier, we're going to make ourselves available. We've got coaching clients all over the world, people that we're helping to have record sales and profits, and we've just seen some tremendous success in business. So whatever questions you have about building your business, go ahead and write those down, and we're going to walk through the 5 strategies, the 5 secrets, the 5 systems. See, Michael Gerber said that the secret is the system. The strategies are good, but when you systematize those strategies, it becomes very, very powerful. And I'm going to walk you through a better than phenomenal exercise where you're going to walk through 5 systems for your business. And you're going to be able to see where your business is right now, where you want to take it, and better than that, how to take those steps, exactly what you need to do. And I'm going to walk you through that process. You're definitely going to want to download the handout because it's a powerful business assessment that comes out of the book Born to Win, in the chapter Born to Win for Business Leaders. Now, Zig Ziglar said you are what you are and where you are because of what has gone into your mind. You can change what you are and where you are by changing what goes into your mind. So our hope is that we'll help you put some things into your mind today, right up here, that will change what you are and where you are. How many of you know that human beings do what human beings see? You do what you think about eventually. If you continue to dwell on it, then the fact is that you're going to take action on it. If you take action on it, it's going to become a habit, and that could be positive or negative. So our hope is that you'll put good things in your mind that will help you change your business, and then those will become habits. Those will become systems. That'll just become the way that you do it. Well, let me start with this question. Do you remember why you went into business to start with? Was it to make a lot of money, or was it really to be your own boss, to chart your own course, to have a little more free time? Yeah, right. The brutal reality of most small business owners' lives, you feel like a slave to the business, very little family time, business consumes your mind 24/7, major stress, no real freedom. You feel like you have a job instead of a business, and your day is consumed putting out brush fires. Anybody feel that way? Anybody feel that way out there? If you own your own business, is that the reality of it? I know how you feel because I've been there, done that. I'm originally from L.A., like Zig, Lower Alabama. And don't worry, my wife doesn't laugh at my jokes either, but I grew up very poor on welfare in Mobile, Alabama. There were 7 kids crammed in a little 600-square-foot shack. The house on the roof on this little house was so bad that every time it rained, we had to get out all the pots and pans to catch the leaks. My mother literally fed us on $100 a month from the welfare department. I don't care when that was. That just wasn't a lot of money. I still remember getting Christmas presents from the social workers to this day. A little bit of a funny story. Our shower was about 3 by 3. And there were 7 kids, 2 adults. And one day, my stepfather stepped into the shower, and it fell through to the ground. And we had to prop it up. We had no money. We had to prop it up on a tree stump, which left a gap between the sheetrock and the tile about that big. So if you dropped the soap and it bounced the wrong direction, it was literally under the house in the dirt. So we invented soap on a rope. All right. So that's how poor I was. And so I 18 years old, when you grow up in an environment like that, what are you likely to turn out like? For me, it was hair down to here, rebellious teenager, got kicked out of the house. I deserved it, by the way, bad kid. And I had no money, and I went to Houston, Texas, scraped up enough money for a Greyhound bus ticket to Houston, Texas. Why did I go to Houston, Texas? Because my real dad, who left when I was a year old, only met him twice, lived there, and he's very successful. So I arrived in Houston with literally 25 cents in my pocket, and I became a waiter, and I worked in all these places where we did tableside cooking and, flambe and steak Diane, Cherries Jubilee, Bananas Foster, and setting stuff on fire inside at that age was really cool, let me tell you. So here I am, a waiter, but I always wanted to have my own business. I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. I cut grass as a kid and did everything that I could to make money, but still I'm not making enough money to really start a business. Then I met my wife, Denise Conjette Antoinette Pinella. Now that's Italian. From New Jersey, and I'm from where? Lower Alabama. This is going to be a good match. She buys me a pinstripe suit, tells me to keep my mouth shut because I have an accent. Go up to marry into this Italian family. When you marry an Italian family, you don't get wedding presents. What do you get? You get cash. We got $3,000 cash for our wedding money, and there was a friend of the family at the time tooling around a little red Mercedes convertible, and I said, I want to know what that guy does, and I want to know if it's legal. You know, Italians and all that. Well, my wife's family is not like that. They're wonderful, wonderful people. But what I learned is that this guy, same age as me, 23 at the time, tooling around a little red Mercedes convertible, and I'm just making enough money to pay the rent, was a business owner. So I get back to Houston. I spend all the money that we had, started my first business out of the trunk of my car at 23 years old. My wife was really thrilled about that. You're going to do what? So for the next 13 years, I struggled like most new small business owners without capital do. And I worked hard and I made decent money, but I found myself feeling like a slave to my business. Do you know what I mean? I like to go on vacation, but much of that vacation was consumed on the cell phone talking to customers and employees back home. Can you relate to that? That was me. And then in 1997, I learned two secrets that changed my life forever. I read a little book called The E-Myth by Michael E. Gerber. And in that book, I learned two things. Number one, I learned that you got to have systems in your business. You got to work on the business instead of just in the business. So I went down to my favorite place in the whole world, Destin, Florida. I sat on the beach. And I rewrote my life, rewrote my business, came back to Houston, and turned that business into a multi-million-dollar enterprise. One of the strategies that we use that we'll refer to today, I generate an average of $64,000 in new business through referrals with just one of my companies. I built all my companies this way. I'll share with you on this webcast the secret to record sales and profits that most small businesses miss. I'll teach you a couple of different strategies that you can start doubling your profit immediately that most small business owners overlook. I've got 40 employees that love their work. I love them. They love me. And it's a turnkey business so that I can go and do the things that I want to do, which is to make a difference in the lives of small business owners, to help small business owners stop being a slave to their business. So I can do what I'm doing right now. You know, the first time I interviewed Zig Ziglar was right here in this room, sitting right here with him and Tom. And the fact is, with a turnkey business and being financially blessed, there's a lot of things that I could do right now. So you might wonder, well, you know, why are you doing what you do? It's to make a difference. I was sitting here the first time that I interviewed Zig Ziglar on video, and I said, you know, you've been very successful. Why are you here talking to me? At that time, he didn't know who I was. He didn't really know that much about me. But to the very end, that man was touching as many lives as he possibly could. And I'll never forget what he said. He said, you know, I said, aren't there more pleasurable things that you could be doing with your time? He said, there may be things that are more pleasurable, but there are a few things that are more important. Wow. So you got a purpose in your life. And you got to remember why you went into business for yourself to start with. Well, I started helping small business owners about 15 years ago, and what do you know? I meet Michael Gerber, the guy who wrote the E-Myth. He becomes a friend and has been on our stage several times. We had him just this past May. One of the things I'm going to mention to you today is something called relationship marketing. How many of you know that all of business is about relationships? My good friend Bob Berg wrote a great best-selling book called The Go-Giver, and I think it's one of the best books to really understand how relationships in business are built. And then another thing that we'll talk about is how to create a unique experience. My good friend Joseph Michelli, best-selling author of The Starbucks Experience, there's a concept called experiential marketing that you want to understand as a business owner so that you can set yourself apart and get people to pay you a premium price. And then, of course, met this man with an unusual name, Mr. Zig Ziglar, and of course he's been on my stage, and Tom has been on my stage, and I've done several of these video webcasts, and as I said when I opened up today, now I feel like family, and I tell you, it's an honor and a privilege to help to carry on the legacy of that great man. Just 2 weeks ago, right here at Ziglar headquarters, we held the very first Zig Ziglar legacy training. It was absolutely life-changing. Now, after a while, we're going to give you the opportunity to be among the first public folks to be able to go through that. We did a private group, my group. I was so honored to be able to be involved in that first one. And we're going to give you the opportunity to do that a little bit later. So stay tuned. We're going to answer questions. We're going to make that available to you. But it's first come, first served. Just a very few number of people are going to be able to come. But what a blessing, what an honor. My first book was published in April. It's called 7 Secrets of a Phenomenal Life. Zig said you're born to win, but in order to be the winner that you were born to be, you've got to plan to win, you've got to prepare to win, and then and only then can you expect to win. I have a similar philosophy because I learned it from Zig. You are a phenomenal product. So if you're going to do something, have a phenomenal life, you've got to do something phenomenal, and then you've got to understand that you are a phenomenal person. Zig said you got to be before you can do, you got to do before you can have. So if you want to have something different, you got to do something different. If you're going to consistently do something different, you've got to become a different person. That was the biggest thing that my group got out of the Zig Ziglar Legacy Training is who do you really want to become as a person? How many of you know that the phenomenally successful person builds a phenomenally successful business? That you can't build anything meaningful without character. But what we're most proud of, what makes a difference in our lives is this. These are people all over the world that we've helped change their business and improve their lives. John Brown is the first guy there, went from $10,000 a month with our program to almost $1 million a year. The second guy, Dave DeBlander in Pensacola, Florida, was struggling, low prices. He did over $2 million last year, turnkey business, takes 14 to 15 weeks of vacation all over the world. The third guy, Ralph Greco from California, was stuck at $250,000 a year. For 40 years, doubled his business, did $750,000 last year. I won't go through all of them, but second row all the way over to the right, Mr. John Torres started with us at zero and did $3.6 million last year. He's grown by over $2 million in the last 2 years. So I say all that so that you'll know that that lives are being changed, businesses are being changed, that you can have a phenomenally successful business, you can have a phenomenally successful life if you follow certain principles and use specific strategies. So that's what I want to share with you today. Now, a little while ago, I shared with you that back in 1997 that I learned 2 secrets that changed my life. One of them is you got to have systems in your business, which we'll look at. The second one was the one that I'm going to share with you right now. And I consider this to be the greatest business lesson that I've ever learned. And that lesson is this, is that your business exists for one reason and one reason only, and that is to be a vehicle to help you achieve your life goals. That's the only reason it exists. Let me ask you a question. Would you agree that your business has a dramatic impact on your personal life? Most small business owners that I know would say, yes, absolutely. Now, here's the great news. No, here's the phenomenal news. No, here's the better than phenomenal news, and that is that it can be a positive impact. In other words, you can do things in your business today, make decisions in your business today that will have a positive impact on your personal life. But how many of you know that if you don't have a clear vision for your life, if you don't have a clear vision of everything that you want to be, do, and have, and what these 7 areas on the wheel of life need to look like in your life, you're not going to build the right business. Because every decision that you make in your business is going to have an impact in your personal life, whether it's positive or negative. Now, let's get into these 5 strategies. I was so blessed to be quoted in Zig Ziglar's last book and to help Tom with that last chapter called Born to Win for Business Leaders. And that's what we're going to learn from today. Tom and I got together and he said, Howard, he said, you know, first of all, we have this wheel of life and where you can take a look at your life and you look at these 7 areas and you rate your life on these 7 areas on a scale of 1 to 10. Have you ever done a business wheel? And I said, yeah, we do that in our meetings all the time. So let me send that up to you. And we started fleshing this out. We came up with 5 different areas of business that you want to understand. The first one is marketing. Marketing is everything that you do to attract prospects to your business. Sales is everything that you do to convert that prospect into paying customer. Operations is everything that you do to service your clients. And then administration is everything that you do to track the results. That's your financial tracking. Those are those internal processes, your bookkeeping and those kinds of things. And then leadership is influencing and moving the rest of those areas. Everything rises and falls on leadership. Marketing doesn't get done unless you have leadership. And by the way, who's the toughest person to lead? Ourselves. It's a wonderful thing being a business owner. You've got all this freedom, but you work for yourself. And we all need accountability. We all need to become better leaders. I was just in Florida and one of our members came up and he said, Howard, he said, I got a problem. He came up to have lunch and I said, well, what's the problem? He said, we got to redo our business plan. I said, well, and he's been a member for a few months and I said, well, what's the problem? He said, well, it's a sales problem. I said, well, what's the problem? And he said, we've got more sales than we expected, and therefore we've got to redo our business plan. He was sort of, joking with me. It was true that his sales were up, but he was kind of joking with me about redoing the business plan because I thought maybe he's struggling in sales, and I was ready to count off to him, okay, here's all the things you need to do in marketing. And so I said, Anthony, what was the difference? He said, well, really leadership. I became a better leader. I became more disciplined, and I started doing things that I knew that I needed to do with you guys' help. So what we're going to do in this broadcast is we're going to take you quickly through a powerful assessment on all 5 of these areas. All right? Now, marketing. Again, marketing is everything that you do to attract prospects to your business. The way that this assessment works is there are 10 statements on each one of these assessments. And what you're going to do is you're going to rate each one of those areas on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being poor, 10 being better than phenomenal. All right? So I'm going to walk you through these, and as we get through the last few, I may just hit just the highlights because, as Tom said earlier, we normally process this in a one-day event. And then to actually implement all these kinds of things in your business, that is a long-term process. But I'll tell you this, without hesitation, everyone who's seen this business assessment has said, Howard and Tom, this is one of the greatest tools we've ever seen for small business. I was over in Australia teaching for the Ziglars when Zig passed away in November. And the gentleman that had hosted us, and of course Tom was supposed to go, we were supposed to go together, and he stayed back because Zig had fallen ill. And I'm over there, and so the seminar promoter jumped in and sort of helped a little bit to fill in where Tom normally fills in. He's a brilliant business guy, #1 real estate investing author in Australia. His name's Steve McKnight. And as after we did a couple of cities, and I started, we'd fly from one city to the next. We did 5 cities in 7 days. And so we're on the airplane talking about how the day went. And he said, and I said, well, what's the best part? What's the best thing that we got there? And he said, Howard, he said, you know, when you're interacting with the folks, it's phenomenal. It really is. Don't let me take anything away from that. He said, but that assessment you guys put together, wow, that is, and he said it with an Australian accent, you know, better than phenomenal, you know. And so what a great guy. What a great country, by the way. We can't wait to get back over there. So let's walk through marketing. Let's see how you're doing in marketing in your business. All right, number one, we're meeting or exceeding our sales goals through effective lead generation and promotion. What does that mean? First of all, do you have a sales goal? Do you have a written sales goal? What would happen in your business if you decided what your sales need to be? And by the way, how do you do that? Well, you need to know what your net is. You need to know what your costs are before you can set your sales goal properly. You set your sales goal, you break it down by the month, you break it down by the week, you break it down by the day so that you have a daily focus. If you have a team, one of the things that we do in my service company is we break it down by the day, and we post those numbers and update those numbers every single day so the whole team can see how they're doing. They track their upsells every single day. They track their closings every single day so that they can see what the score is. How many of you know that you win in business by making a profit? That a business without a profit is just a hobby. You can't make profit unless you make your sales goal. All right? Number two, we have a clear position in the marketplace. What does that mean? Well, my good friend Joseph Michelli, international branding expert, #1 New York Times best-selling author, says this. He says a brand, he's the author of the Starbucks Experience, the Zappos Experience, a number of other books, and he says a brand is nothing more than what people say about you when you're not around. In our workshops and our conferences, we spend a lot of time thinking about this. And the fact is that you're going to take up a position in the marketplace whether you intend to or not. So what if you understood how to create the right experience, how to position yourself in such a way that people would say, hey, those people have more value, they're worth a higher price, and I'm going to stand in line to do business with them. Speaking of that, number three, we've clearly defined our target market. Do you know that if you try to be everything to everybody, you won't be anything to anybody? If you try to be everything to everybody, you won't be anything significant to anybody. It's called getting rich in the niche. And here's how you find out who your target market is. I want you to picture your best customer. All right, the one that pays on time, that doesn't complain about price, that's a pleasure to do business with. Do you have a picture in your mind? That's your prime target market. So how old are they? What gender are they? Business or consumer market? What's their lifestyle? And you want to think about everything that you can and really understand what their lifestyle is, and then understand what's called psychographics. How do they buy? Do they go on the internet? Do they get referrals? Do they look at specific ads? All right? So you want to understand your prime target market. Number four, we have clear definitions of our products and or services. What do we mean by that? Well, all of you should have what we call profit centers. In other words, if you just have one service or product, you're limited. So what you want to do is have additional services and products. Now, I know that most businesses do, but here's what happens. First of all, we don't know really how to explain the benefits. You know, I'm here at Ziglar, and I was just reading on the wall, and that's why you want to come to Zig Ziglar Legacy Training, because you get to see all the stuff that's here in headquarters. And Zig has this thing called I'm a Salesman, right? And the fact is, nothing happens in a business until a sale is made. And you don't make a sale unless you understand the benefits and how to demonstrate those benefits and to have the descriptions of those products and services properly done in your marketing. So nothing happens in a business until a sale is made, and a sale doesn't happen until marketing is done. Next, we have a pricing strategy that is profitable. We have a pricing strategy that's profitable. There's all kinds of different ways to price your services and package your products. So you want to make sure that the way that you're selling is the most profitable way. Now, let's go to the next one, because this is a big one. In fact, the next three are huge. All right? The next one is what I call, not doing this is called the biggest marketing mistake of all. Other than doing nothing, this one is the biggest marketing mistake of all. The biggest marketing mistake of all is not marketing to your past clients. Not marketing to your past clients. The reason, if you're not marketing to them, your competitor is. They forget about you. It's called TOMA, top of mind awareness. So you need to be calling them. You need to be emailing them. You need to be mailing something to them. Yes, snail mail still does work if you do it right. You need to be connecting with them on social media. Listen, just social media ain't going to get it for a phenomenally successful business. Then the next two, this is where record sales and profits happen. All right, the next one is, do you have an effective referral relationship program? Here's what we mean by that. The secret to record sales and profits is not chasing prospects or chasing suspects, chasing individual customers. The secret is finding a referral source, a center of influence. Imagine that there's a referral source that's like a hub, and off of that are all your perfect niche clients. It's marketing to that referral source, people who already have your audience, and every small business has this. Let me just give you a couple of examples. Ziglar is a referral source for me. Right now, I'm broadcasting to the Ziglar audience because the Ziglar audience has small business owners in their audience. Now, I didn't come and ask them to be their coach. All right, I came and built a relationship, added value to them. Zig said you can have everything in life you want if you just help enough other people get what it is that they want. See, I just came and built a relationship, and then they said, you know, Howard knows small business. Let's see if he'll do our small business training. Did I have to think about that one? Not for very long, that's for sure. Now, let's look at the next one. We're limited time. We're going to go through this one, this assessment. I think Tom's going to give away some stuff here in just a second, and then we'll get into the other ones. Now, do you have an effective referral reward system? In other words, when you get a new client, do you have a reward system? See, people like money, and if you reward them financially, they'll continue to send you new business. You can do a joint venture like Ziglar and I have done, and there are so many different examples. We work with a lot of service companies, and they work with realtors and interior designers and plumbers, and they have a lot of cross-marketing like that, and those referral sources can send them a lot of business. But most small business owners don't really understand how that works. So you got to understand how to go in there and build that business relationship. Finally, the final two, 1 to 10, we have a written posted marketing calendar. This is what we do every day. This is what we do every week. This is what we do every month. This is what we do once a year. And maybe it's event driven. So do you have that all lined out for your upcoming events? And then, of course, the last one could be in a whole assessment all by itself. We have an effective internet marketing system that includes websites that clearly communicate what we do. We utilize search engine optimization, and we're consistently capturing email addresses and using them to communicate to our email audience, and we have a strong presence on social media. Now, before I bring Tom up here to give something away real quick, let me ask you 2 questions. Number one, and by the way, what you're going to do is you're going to add all these numbers up, all right? And you're going to have a total, and then you're going to divide that total by 10. So, for example, if you add all those numbers up and it's 52, you divide that by 10, you're going to have a 5.2. Now, that total number is going to be a very important number. If for some reason one of those areas on the assessment doesn't actually apply to your business, not likely, but if it doesn't apply to your business, then just skip it and then divide by 9. And that last total is going to be very important toward the end of the webcast. So stay with us, and it's going to all come together. It's going to be totally awesome. But let me ask you these 2 questions. Number one, would you agree that you need some help in the marketing area? We've been traveling together, Tom and I, for over a year now. We've done, just last year alone, we did 22 full-day workshops, not counting all the different presentations and traveling overseas and all those other things that we've done, webcasts, webinars, and we've never found one person that scored really high in all these areas. See, small business owners, typically you know the technical stuff, but you don't know the business side. You don't know the marketing side of it. So would you agree that you could use some help in that area? Then the second question is this. Would you also agree that if you could score high in all 10 of those areas, that you would have a pretty phenomenal marketing system? See, that's the secret sauce. That's the strategy. That is the difference, is not just marketing, but having a phenomenal, remarkable, extraordinary, engaging, entertaining marketing system that you can duplicate over and over and over. And better than that, get other people to implement for you. So we're going to do 4 more assessments. We'll go through the other ones a little bit quicker, because the fact is some of you guys are high Ds and you probably already filled it all out. If you haven't downloaded it yet, download it, print it out, and I think Mr. Tom Ziglar, proud son of Zig Ziglar, would like to give away something here, and then we'll get into the rest of it. Tom?
Awesome, Howard. Awesome. Yeah. All right. I just want to say I'm looking at my screen over there, and we've got people on from Greece, from India, from the UK, from Kuwait, from all over the world. We want you to know we're glad you're here. And also, Howard, we've got business coaching all over the world, too. We've got people we're working with in Australia, the UK, Hong Kong.
Yep.
So we work all over. And the cool thing is this business system works no matter where your business is in the world.
Whatever, or what type of business.
Yeah, or what type. So we all need these things. But what I want to do is we want to give away 2 copies of Born to Win, the Born to Win book. If you check that out here. And what we're going to do is the 7th person and the 14th person to do the question box and put in Born to Win, you will each win a copy of Born to Win. We'll send that to you. Unfortunately, we can only send it to people in the United States. And so, Howard, do we have like a link or a download that we could give a business tool away to somebody overseas? If
you bet.
Okay.
Absolutely. We
so
can.
If you're from one of these other countries, go ahead and enter. And what we'll do is we'll send you a gift as well that'll go to you. Now, the cool thing about Born to Win is in the last section we have the assessments back here at the back that you can go through that we're covering right here today. So it looks like that. So I don't know.
And also you have...
all right. Well, it's kind of hard with the lighting. There we go.
There you go.
The lighting's good, so you can do it on your own. And these are great because if you have a business partner, one of the tools that you can do, in fact, with the download, is you and the business partner can each fill it out independently and then compare notes.
Yeah.
So it's just a great tool. And one of the things that we talk about is that it's like GPS. If you're trying to go somewhere, you got to know where you are for the satellite to give you the right directions. So if you're trying to grow your business, until you know exactly where you are, it's hard to get to the next spot. So thanks a lot, Howard.
Well, thank you so much, Tom. I wanted to also point out that in the book, the Born to Win for Business Leaders has a lot more than just the assessment. It actually walks you through. Tom did a phenomenal job of connecting the personal. Zig Ziglar's life work, this is his legacy capstone book, and Tom did a super job of connecting that personal to the business, because the fact is that your business does have a dramatic impact on your personal life. They are connected.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you can't, Dad, I'd ask him many times when somebody would come up for advice, and usually they want technical advice like, how do I be a better speaker, or how do I be more effective in sales, or how do I be a better leader at my company? And they were wanting tips on how to technically do it. And he'd always say the same thing. Until you're the right kind of person, you're always going to struggle with those other things.
That's right.
Back to you, Howard.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate that. All right, so go ahead and start typing your questions in. By the way, let me know how you did on the first assessment, and it'll just be between us. Nobody else will see it. Type it in on the question bar so nobody else can see it?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, not in the chat unless you want everybody else to know. But type in your questions, type in how you did on the assessment. Now, we're going to breeze through the next ones, and we're going to let you do those on your own. But I'm going to point out just a couple of things, and then Tom is going to come up here. We're going to share with you an unbelievable opportunity. Sales is the second one, and sales is everything that you do to attract, take those prospects that you've attracted with marketing, convert them into paying customers. So marketing is everything that you do to attract prospects to your business. Sales is everything that you do to convert them from prospect to paying customer. Let me just give you a couple of highlights here. The strategy is a phenomenal sales system that you can duplicate. All right, but if you'll go down there and look at, we have an effective upsell and downsell process. This will help you a lot. The most profitable sale ever made is the add-on sale. And the reason for that is your cost, your time, money, and energy to acquire that client has already been realized. All right. So if you have other services like we talked about before, then after that first sale is made, let them know about the other services. And of course, there's some technique involved in that. But remember that you're a consultant, and if you don't share with people that add-on sale and it's a good product or a good service, it's not helping them, and you're not helping them. You see, sales is something that not that you do to somebody, it's something that you do with and for someone. You're actually helping them. So if you start upselling, the reason it's the most profitable sale ever made, your costs are already taken care of, so all the profit goes to the bottom line. And then a downsell process, a question we always get. Let's say you have a prospect that expresses interest. You do your sales presentation. They don't buy. Maybe there's a lower package or a lower model or something like that that would work for them. You still get the sale. You still get the client. But instead of lowering your price, what you want to do is offer another alternative. By the way, another area here is really learning the secrets of closing the sale. Zig Ziglar has a phenomenal sales process and product called Secrets of Closing the Sale. How much money would you make if you were able just to close a few more sales? Did you know that there are specific things that you can do and specific ways that you can approach that will increase your sales? So go ahead and do your sales assessment 1 through 10. If you don't have time to do it on the website, on the webcast today, you can do that a little bit later. But let's go ahead and move to the next one so that we can walk you through what this really is and why it's important. Operations is everything that you do to service your clients. Look at this first one right here. We've developed our unique service experience. See, you've got to be unique. You've got to provide a service experience that they can't get anywhere else. That's the key to getting people to come back over and over. It's the key to getting higher prices. It's the key to getting people to stand in line and pay you the highest prices like Starbucks does. And then fourth is administration. You want to be tracking those numbers. This is one of the weakest areas for most small business owners because we're not business owners, we're technicians. We know the technical work, but we really don't know the numbers side of it. A business without a profit is just a hobby. Now, if you've got questions about these assessments, you can go ahead and type those in, and we'll be happy to explain what some of these things mean. And then finally is leadership. Everything rises and falls on leadership. And look at this very first one. I learned from Steve McKnight over there in Australia the power of this. Now, I kind of already knew it, but you know how you know something and you're reminded of it? And I think that that's what's so great about Ziglar is that we know that we want to be a phenomenal person, but Zig reminds you that how important it is and how to do it. Well, Steve McKnight over there in Australia, this was his audience that we were doing these workshops for, and he would look at them, and he would look around the room, and he would say, what problem is it that you solve? And the guy that, had a paint and body shop, he'd say, well, people need their car painted. No, that's not the problem that you solve. And he dug deep to understand that people, maybe they have an image problem. Maybe they want to feel good about, or they want to impress their clients, or whatever it is. They want to have a positive image there. That's the problem that you solve. And you can develop what we call a one-sentence mission statement that everyone in your company understands and follows. See, it all starts with why. Our mission in small business training here at Ziglar is to help small business owners stop being a slave to their business, help you to transform it into a predictable, profitable, turnkey operation. You see, so we have a very clear mission. So go ahead and do that assessment. This will be one of the most valuable things that you've ever done in your business career. And I want to thank you for your time today. Tom's going to come up now, and we're going to talk about this over-the-top program that we've got available.
All right. Well, Howard, we last week, or actually it was about 10 days ago now, we had our first ever Ziglar Legacy Training Program.
Yep.
And we had a room full, about 32, 33 people.
Yep.
And it was a life-changing event.
It really was.
What was the biggest takeaway that you saw that the group had?
Well, you know, the folks that were here, we did the first private one. Now we're going to open it up to the public. And I've been working with these folks for a long time. And what I saw is that they finally got Zig's philosophy in here. You know, we hear it. And just the whole experience of being here with your mom being here and Julie and the whole Ziglar staff, they finally got what it means to become a different person.
Yep. And the thing is we asked a series of 4 questions at the very beginning. And 2 questions I want to talk about right now because they are perfect for becoming the right kind of person and the right kind of business owner. The first question, and this is like, you know, people ask, what is the one question? And I don't know if there is the one question, but I can tell you this is pretty close to it. And this question is pretty simple as well. Who do you want to become? Who do you want to be? Dad's philosophy has always been you got to be before you can do, and you've got to do before you can have.
Yep.
The problem is our culture, our society, what we see in the media is a do and have philosophy,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
It's I want to have this, and I want to have that, and I want to have that. Therefore, I've got to do this, and I've got to do that. The problem is what you have can be taken away from you in a heartbeat.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And what you do can be taken away from you in a heartbeat. One of our team members, Philip, he was in a tragic car accident. He was on a motorcycle, got hit, lost his leg.
Yep.
He's not able to do what he used to do.
Yep.
The difference is he knew who he was.
That's right.
He was the right kind of person. He was the be part. And so because of that, he is still living a life of significance, changing lives,
That's right.
enjoying every day.
Yep.
And that's because he was the be. Now the second...
Now, he was really having some fun today when I came in. That's one of the other reasons I love to come to the Ziglar office. I got a picture of this. I'll show you. I passed by Philip's office, and, you know, he's only got one leg, you know. He's got... And both the dogs were in there, and he's just feeding the dog. I was like, is that on your job description?
Oh, it's a lot of fun working.
Great, yeah.
And so we created the Ziglar Legacy training for this. That is that people seem to always struggle in life, right? You know, they're in survival mode, and I'm talking about emotionally what they're made for, what their purpose in life is.
Yep.
And the reason is they never sit down and discover to take the time to understand who they were created to be. And so we spend our time in the class digging deep. It's a small room. There will be no more than 30 people in the class.
Yep.
It's a day and a half. It's very deep. Tons of questions. Lots of feedback. It's really about you coming.
Yep.
And that question is who do you want to become? So you ask yourself that question, who do I want to become? The second question is, okay, how do I become that person? And we have a proven track record over 40 years with methods to help you become that kind of person. You know, I was reading a book the other, which is kind of unusual for me. Now I read all the time. And it says that we're only born with 2 fears. The fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. Those are the only 2 things we're born with. The rest of it we have to learn.
Wow.
Well, our character qualities, you know, honesty, integrity, love, loyalty, all those different things, we have to learn those as well. And so the difference between somebody who is being everything they were meant to be and those who aren't is that person understands how to become and how to develop those qualities. We have them within ourselves. We just don't know how to build them. Now, the other question that I love that's big, I got this one from Seth Godin. And this is like if you're a business...
And he was here, right?
Yeah. Seth was here. He was in this studio about 6 weeks ago. We were recording a session. And... this is like the ultimate connector. If you're in business and you're trying to make sense of your life and do something of significance at the same time that you're trying to grow your business, here's the ultimate question. You see, Seth said this in his book, The Icarus Agenda. He said, good companies ask their customers what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Great companies ask their customers what they want to become or who they want to become. And the example he used is brilliant. It's the difference between Dell and Apple. A number of years back, the MP3 player hit the market, right? And all these people are vying for it. So Dell goes out and they ask their customers, what do you want? And their customers said, oh, we want an inexpensive, reliable piece of equipment that'll hold all my songs that I can get to easily and listen to whatever I want when I want. So they were price and quality, you know, and that's important. Apple went out and they asked their customers, who do you want to become? What do you want to be known for? And the Apple people said, I want to be innovative. I want to be a leader. I want to be a trendsetter. I want to be a difference maker in my community. I want something that fits my lifestyle. I want something that sets me apart, that allows me to be everything I want to be. And they created the iPod. Does Dell even make MP3 players anymore?
I don't know, but.
And so in your business, if you can figure out what your customer wants to become, then you've differentiated yourself and given yourself a competitive advantage against everybody else. So the Ziglar Legacy program is about understanding who you are and who you want to become, and then how you can reach a level of significance that's hard to imagine. Because significance comes when you help those you love, your family, your friends, your team members, and yes, even your customers, become who they were supposed to be. And so a relationship, you know, like you say, Howard, all the time, business is about relationships.
Right. All of business and all of life is about relationships.
Right, all about relationships.
That's right.
So relationships is built on who you are as a person.
That's right.
Your inner qualities, your character qualities, your integrity. And if you're a person of integrity and you love someone for the heart and you want the best for them, then the number one question you have is, how can I help them become who God built them to be? You're not doing it for your own motives. You're doing it to see them. And then Dad, with a big smile, every time he would tell this story. When I was younger and we would play golf together, Bill Cranford. Bill Cranford was one of Dad's mentors. He's out there on the wall of gratitude. And we would play golf. And Bill was one of Dad's managers. And Bill spoke into Dad. And one day, Mr. Cranford, I called him, Dad called him up on the phone, and he said, Bill, I've had the most incredible sales day ever in my life. And for about an hour, Dad said he talked nonstop, telling him about the first sales call and how he closed in the second sales call and how he closed in the third. Bill didn't say a word. And at the end of it, Dad apologized to him, and he said, Bill, I'm so sorry. I haven't given you a chance to talk. And Bill said, don't worry about it, Zig. You'll understand someday. The greatest joy you'll ever have is when you help someone else achieve a level of success they never thought was possible.
Wow.
See, Dad learned that from somebody.
Yes.
And so what we do in this day-and-a-half-long Ziglar Legacy program right here at Ziglar headquarters is we go through that process. And so we wanted to make a special offer for you guys today.
Yep. So again, this is going to be the first time ever that Ziglar has done a Zig Ziglar Legacy training for the public. We did a private event 10 days ago. So here's the question. Would you like to make more money? That's important. As Zig said, it's not the most important thing in life, but it's reasonably close to oxygen. Yeah.
Well,
when you need it, you really need it.
My fun one now is Dad used to say, I've had money and I haven't had money. It's better to have money.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right. Would you like to reach more of your goals? Would you like to improve your business and personal relationships? And would you like to be in the top 3%? What do we mean by that? Well, Zig teaches that only 3% of the population actually have a goals and personal development system. What did we learn about earlier? Systems. only 3% of the population have a goals and personal development system implemented in their life. And guess what? Those 3% make the most money, reach the most goals. And as Zig always said, it's not what you get when you reach your goals, it's what you become. Become. So, would you like to be among the first to carry on Zig's legacy? I know you're here because you love Zig. I know you're here because you're a Zig fan, and this is an incredible experience. As Tom said, it's an exclusive 1.5 days here at Zig Ziglar headquarters in the Dallas area, Plano, Texas. You'll see the wall of gratitude. You'll meet the staff. You'll be able to learn and apply the Ziglar philosophy to your life. And there's only 2 groups available. We're only making 60 slots available. There's going to be 2 groups of no more than 30, and
right.
Understand that you already have 15 of those reserved, so it's down to 45.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's the first come, first served, and it's only $797 a person. However, if you guys sign up today, if you go ahead and take that action today, you're going to save $300. It's $497 per person, and you're also going to get your very own free Born to Win book. So, Tom, I'll let you share let me share a couple pictures. This is the group that was here. Again, that's right here at headquarters. Guess who else was here? The redhead, Gene Ziglar. Julie Ziglar there in the middle. And every one of these Zig Ziglar Legacy training events are going to be different.
Right.
And there are going to be surprises. This is designed to be very special. And in this particular case, it just so happened that Dan Cathy, the CEO of Chick-fil-A, happened to be here doing a Ziglar Legacy Series video, and he was our special guest. So we also have a bonus for you when you sign up today. You're going to be able to get a free ticket to our Phenomenal Freedom Conference. This is a conference for business owners. This is something we're doing in Nashville, May 16th through 18th. And what this conference is all about is, as a business owner, you're going to learn our systems to break free from the demands of your everyday business, have the freedom that you went into business for, to discover the secrets of a phenomenal business and life. You're going to learn from my most successful small business students that have added over $100,000 a year to their business. You're going to learn the secrets of Zig Ziglar, because his proud son, Zig Ziglar, Tom Ziglar, the proud son of Zig Ziglar, Tom Ziglar, is going to be there. He goes to all the conferences now because we're partners. You're going to meet Bill McBain, who's the author of The Facts of Business Life. Steve Forbes did the foreword of this book and said that Bill McBain has the solution for small business. Wes Cantrell, who took Lanier International from $3 million to over $1 billion, is going to be there. One of our philosophies is, as a business owner, is get around people who are already doing what it is that you want to do. And we're going to spend a half a day business planning, so you're going to leave with a proven but simple written business plan to follow that will put your business on the path of phenomenal success. Let me just give you a couple of testimonials. This is of our clients. This is Daryl Thomas in Charlotte, North Carolina. Went from a low-price company to $750,000 in high-end business. These are the kinds of things that you'll learn at the event. This is Luis Hernandez, went from debt slave to debt free. This is John Browning. I mentioned him earlier, $10,000 a month to over almost $1 million a year. And then these are our wonderful clients from Hong Kong. They were almost out of business when they came to Nashville back in January. Not only have they turned their business around, they went from $1,200 profit, almost out of business, to 300,000 Hong Kong dollars plus a salary. They're building systems in their business, and most of all, they are learning to become phenomenally successful people, and they're getting along better as a result. So we literally have small business owners all over the world having record sales and profits, building systems in their business. And the thing is, when you go ahead, and this event is $297 in Nashville, May 16th through 18th. But when you go ahead and enroll for the Zig Ziglar Legacy Training, they're going to get a free ticket to this event. right?
Right.
And you're also going to be able to bring your spouse to this conference in Nashville. It's 2.5 days, and our conferences are just out of sight.
Right.
Business owners literally come from all over the world and create that change in their business.
So let me just recap everything. We sure do want you to come. We have a limited capacity here at headquarters. We can only fit about 30 in the room. So if you want to come, it's normally $797. We have a special offer of $497, and that offer is going to last until May 1st. So it's probably not. We're probably going to sell out before May 1st, but that's what we've guaranteed that the offer would last to as long as.
Can I interrupt you for a second? Now, I don't know how many people are on the line, but I mean, when we had this at our conference, it literally sold out in seconds. So if you want to do this, are there dates? Do we have dates?
Yeah, we have 2 dates. So you might want to take these down. We have June 25th and 26th, and then August 9th and 10th. June 25, 26, and then August 9th and 10th. We're going to be sending an email out with the registration details. But here, I want to throw in one more thing. Let me give you our 800 number. It's 800-527-0306. That way you can call in if you want to go ahead and register. Michael and Margaret will be here on the phone to answer your call.
They can call right now?
They can call right now.
Awesome. And what's that number again?
800-527-0306. And here's what I'm going to do. We have another session tonight. So what I want to do is on the second day in the morning, we start at 8:30, I believe. And the first 5 who register from this class, from this session, we're going to have a breakfast on the second day. It'll just be me and whoever the first 5 are. We're going to be across the street. We'll meet from 7:30 to 8:15, and then we'll come over here as a group. So if you have any one-on-one questions, but in order to get that, you're going to want to call 800-527-0306. So it's this is the first time out of the gate for this, but it's not, Howard. This is Dad's Born to Win material. That's been changing lives for 40-plus years. Yeah. What we've done simply is to modernize a little bit. When I talked to Seth Godin, he says we're curators. We've got to take these timeless truths and put them into a format that works today. And that's what I think is unique about our relationship, Howard, is we've connected personal success and business success. So this webcast hosted by Success 2.0 was for those business owners who are in our membership and on our guest list. And in the offer that we're going to send you, we're also going to talk about Success 2.0. You may want to join Success 2.0. We do have a fantastic trial offer, so be ready for that. If you're already a member, you know all the great benefits that you get. Thanks for coming again. And if you're around the world, we've had people come from all over to attend these conferences. There's no restrictions. You can come from anywhere in the world right here and join us in this. It'll be a lifetime.
Worth it too.
And Howard, I know we got some questions.
Great. Well, we'll go ahead and take questions, but go ahead and call if you want to get registered right now. Again, the last time we did this sold out in just a few minutes. And remember that you get to come to Nashville to our business building conference, 2.5 days, May 16th through 18th, at no charge when you register for the Ziglar Legacy Training.
Absolutely.
All right. What questions do we have?
So we've got a question here from Saudi Arabia. I'm afraid to say your name, so it's Muyad.
Okay.
Awesome. So glad you're here. It's cool because with Dad's legacy and who he's reached around the world, it's like I have brothers and sisters in every country in the world.
I love this question.
This question is, what are the advantages I would get from hiring people to do my marketing and sales, which I'm currently doing myself? And this is like, Michael Gerber said when we start our business, sometimes it's an entrepreneurial seizure. We just, whoa! And then we get stuck doing marketing, sales, operations, administration, and leadership. So why should somebody who runs their own business, why should they outsource some of that or get somebody?
Yeah. Well, remember that the one and only reason your business exists is to help you achieve your life goals. So the very first step is to think about your lifestyle. Are there changes that you want to make? Or are there any limitations that your business is putting on you? Now, you may want to continue to do the marketing and sales and have other people do the other things. So that all depends on your life goal. If you love what you do every day and you love everything that you do in your business, then keep doing it. If you're making enough money, then keep doing what you're doing. But if you want to change the role that you play in that business, then one of the greatest things about growing a business is becoming that leader and watching other people grow, like you were talking about with Bill Cranford earlier. So it all depends on your life goals. Are you reaching the life goals? Is your business giving you that lifestyle that you really want? And a lot of people are afraid to give things like that up, and you shouldn't give any of that stuff up until they're properly trained. And that's what leadership and training systems are all about.
Yep. And, Dad, if you look at his career, God gave him an amazing ability to speak and to communicate and to motivate and inspire and give hope. And there was a point in his career where he could work on the day-to-day parts of the business, or he could go out and write books and give speeches. And so we need to work in our strength zone.
That's right.
Right?
That's
so
right.
if sales and marketing is your strength, that might be the thing that you keep the longest, and you let go of some of the other things.
That's right.
Here we've got a testimonial. This is Doug. Hey, Doug.
Doug Dimick. Hey, Doug.
Doug. So he was here in our legacy training. Here's what Doug says. This program was over the top. Talk about wow. I feel revived in my own spirit. The staff of Ziglar's was amazing. Walking around the office of Ziglar and looking at the picture of Zig, you could hear him saying the quotes. He said, I had an amazing, better than phenomenal time.
All right, Doug.
One of the benefits that I told people, because when you come in and you're kind of getting acclimatized to the Ziglar vibe, because we're kind of laid back and we're family, is at the very first session I say, hey, during the breaks, wander around. We want you to come in our offices and ask questions. And I have a big whiteboard in my office, and I have notes and things of projects I'm working on. And I mentioned that board on the end of the first day, and everybody went into my office and started taking pictures of it. So it was pretty cool. So word to the wise out there, if you have guests in your office, make sure that what's on your board is good stuff, because these days it's probably leaving home.
Yeah.
Let's see. What's the difference between Ziglar Legacy training and the Inner Circle training?
Tons. Inner Circle training is business training, and that is to train you how to build a phenomenally successful business and to support you through that process. So if you need business coaching, business training, then let us know that, and we'll talk to you about the Inner Circle. The Ziglar Legacy training is a unique experience like none other. You're here at Ziglar headquarters. You're meeting Zig's wife. You're spending time with Tom. He did an amazing job facilitating this. You're hearing from Julie Ziglar. You're meeting Cindy, his other daughter. You're meeting the Ziglar staff, including Laurie Majors, who has been his executive assistant for 35 years.
Almost 36.
36 years.
Yeah.
And by the way, tomorrow is Administrative Assistants Day. Is it okay if everybody sends Laurie flowers?
Absolutely.
Send Laurie flowers. And so that's the difference. It's totally focused on exercises that are helping you to discover how to become that person that you've always wanted to become. Whereas Inner Circle is all business training and support.
Yep. Yeah. So everybody needs Ziglar Legacy training. The Inner Circle is really for business owners,
Right.
either in the process of growing their business or trying to figure out the hard parts.
Yeah.
Because the reality is one misplaced ad will cost you $1,000.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
And so
Or more.
So it's real expensive to learn that way.
Yeah.
And it's a lot better to get involved. And with the Inner Circle, there are so many people who walked your path they become your best friends.
Yeah.
So
just to hit the high points of that, we've got a proven system that I used in building my businesses. I've owned 9 small businesses altogether, own 4 businesses right now. And these processes that I've developed over 28 years have proven to be successful in every kind of business and every kind of country you can imagine. In fact, just a couple are coming to mind real quick. Will Warren over in Australia, I mean, his sales are just off the charts with this program. I got a call from Azure, who has a skincare salon in Austin, Texas, and she had her best month ever. And these are processes. So if you liked what you saw a while ago, that is sort of the outline of what we teach you how to do. And then, like you said, there's a whole community of coaches and other members that are there to help support you and hold you accountable, encourage you, and then our live events. And that's all included in the Inner Circle.
We're going over a little bit, but we have more questions that I want to make sure we get to. Tammy from Texas says, where do you find to be the best ways to find employees? I'll let you go first, and then I'll chime in on that.
Okay, that is something that we do teach in the Inner Circle. It's not a short answer, but the short, in a nutshell, answer is all of business and all of life is about relationships, and we need to be building those relationships outside of our office and connecting with people and really letting people know who you need, what kind of person you need, and really getting through your network. Because if you're getting people through advertising and they're using advertising to get a job, it may mean that they're not good at building relationships. So you want a recommendation. Same way you build your business for external clients, we call employees internal clients, and it's the same process.
There's two mentors. One of them's a brand new mentor, and one I've had for a while that have answered this question that I've heard many times. The first is Dave Ramsey. And you've heard the saying that we like to do business with people we know, like, and trust. Well, we should hire people we know, like, and trust.
That's right.
So how can you hire someone you know, like, and trust? You build a relationship with them before you hire them.
That's right.
So at Ramsey's place, they interview people, I think it's 16 times on average before they actually give them a job. 16 times.
Wow.
That seems like a lot.
Yeah.
I was at a conference of fabricators, metal fabricators, and there's about 50 business owners in the room. And I said, how much does it cost to hire the wrong person? And these hands went up, and it was like tens of thousands of dollars.
Yep.
And it really doesn't matter what level that person is. It costs a fortune to bring somebody on, put them through the steps, and realize they're not a fit. So 16 times seems like a lot until you compare that against the cost of hiring the wrong person.
That's right.
Right? So 16 times, that might mean if you have 3 or 4 people on your team, they each interview them once, then you come back again for another one-on-one interview all the way through. That could be 7 or 8 times right there. You get collective input.
Yeah.
The second one, new mentor, Dan Cathy. I've loved the guy forever.
Yeah.
But when he was here doing one of our videos with our Ziglar Legacy series that we haven't announced yet, so you're getting kind of a preview on it, the question came up about Chick-fil-A grows at about 60 to 70 stores a year. They could grow 10 times faster than that if they wanted to, but that's their strategy. And then they have turnover of about 30 stores a year. So every year they're looking for 100 operators to handle the growth and the turnover, right? The people retiring and so on. They get 22,000 applications, serious, qualified applications that they've got to sort through to pick the 100.
Wow.
And you know what the determining factor is? The only thing that matters at the end of the day? Character.
That's right. That's right.
That's all they look for. That last 100, it's character. Because if they have the right person with the right character and experience and smarts, and it doesn't matter what industry they come out of, they know they can work with them because they're coachable, teachable, and so on.
And by the way, just a point on that, so you've got to position yourself like we were talking about in marketing and build a lot of relationships, build your network so that people are standing in line to go to work for you, like Chick-fil-A.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, this might be a good question to end on. From the chat room, it said, what is the best one reason that makes you proud of your dad, Zig Ziglar? I know there are many, but what was the most? That's a hard one because it might be, depending on what time of my life I'm in, it might be different. But I think there's a fundamental one, and that is this. When Dad became a Christian, he basically told God, he said, I've been doing it my own way my whole life. Now I'm going to do it your way. And he kept his word. And so out of that came a spirit of brokenness Now that might seem weird to people. Well, what does brokenness have to do with it? Well, I believe brokenness is kind of the root of a relationship, you know, the foundational value that you can have with God. Because you see, brokenness simply recognizes that by myself, there's nothing of any eternal significance that I can accomplish. But with Him, there's nothing I can accomplish as long as I'm focused on Him. And so Dad, no matter the accolades, the applause, the standing ovations, the reviews, the literally tens of thousands of people who came up to him and said, "You changed my life," he was real quick to say, "Thank you, but you know what? I was just sharing His truth." And so he used that attitude, that spirit of brokenness, to reach so many people. And because of that, he came across as transparent. You knew when you heard my dad, he was in the room for you. It wasn't for his own benefit. And when you see somebody like that, while it seems like, you know, it doesn't make sense because it seems like you're giving up a lot of authority or power. And what you're really doing is you're getting the authority and power that doesn't matter, your own, out of the way. And everybody sees the truth behind it. So that's what I would say.
Good. Good
so
stuff.
Just wrapping up here, we're going to be sending out an email tonight. Call our 800 number, 800-527-0306 if you want to take advantage. And do this too. If you know somebody who owns a business or who needs some encouragement, take the email that we sent you and forward it on so they can register for tonight's event, 7 p.m. Central Time. Mm-hmm. It's going to be very similar to this, but there's probably going to be a little bit new stuff too. Because, you know, we're on the fly here, right?
Always. You know, we finish something, we say, hey, what worked, what didn't, what do we want to do different? So they're always different. So, by the way, if you want to go through that assessment again, you can tune in as well.
I'm Tom Ziglar, proud son of Zig Ziglar. This is Howard Partridge, our exclusive small business coach, good friend and buddy. We'll see you tonight at 7. If you come back, tell